Grown Man Business TV. Feel what I'm saying? You can tap in, you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. So let's get right into it. Now listen, you already know how we do over here at Grown Man Business TV, right? Time and energy is the highest forms of currency, my G. Time and energy are the highest forms of currency. I know they got you out here chasing the bag, chasing that money, chasing that moolah, getting to that guap, getting to that paper. But always keep in the front of your mental Rolodex that time and energy are the highest forms of currency at all times, my G, at all times. And you already know I got to give a big salute to all my day one investors, all my new incoming subscribers, all my new investors, everybody that's tapped into the channel, everybody that's locked into the channel. You feel what I'm saying? I got to give a big salute. You already know we growing organically. The channel's only going up. I mean, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Now, I know. It's a little bit late. You know what I'm saying? It's a late night tap in. A lot of people might be getting ready for work in the morning. A lot of people got business to handle tomorrow. But it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. This is Grown Man Business TV, and I felt the need to tap in. And don't worry. I'm just like you. You feel what I'm saying? I got to get up early in the morning tomorrow, crossing state lines at all times. You already know I'm going to be in the truck. I'm heading out west. So we in the same boat, baby. But when it come down to this information, when it come down to this game, when it come down to chopping it with the people, my day one investors, all my new subscribers, we gonna do that. We gonna do it. Now, you already see the thumbnail, I'm sure. I'm sure you already see the title. And it is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. But Breezy, my homie, my dog. Now, again, big salute. You know what I mean? You already know, like I say, the thumbnail. You see in the thumbnail, there is no beard. I ain't got the Rick Ross going on. This is a long time ago. You see in the thumbnail, Breezy, he don't look like the Breezy y'all know. In the thumbnail, in the picture for this live stream, that Breezy don't look like the Breezy that y'all know. That's because I know Breezy from way back. That's my dog. You know, I know Breezy personally. And a lot of the times when I do these lives, when I do this content, when I give this information, it's nothing personal when it's all business. You already know how I give it up. You already know I say this all the time. It's nothing personal, but it's all business. But when it come to Breezy, when it come to Chris Brown, you know, it's a dash of personal in there because that's the homie. You understand what I'm saying? That's my dog. Anytime I see Breezy, to this day, it don't matter how many millions he's made. When I see Breezy, it's always, what's up, little bro? You understand that? And coming from me, he accepts that. What's up, little bro? It don't matter how many hundreds of millions of dollars, because he already know. I known him from the jump. So Breezy, Chris Brown, 757 legend, living legend in the flesh, blackballed from the NBA All-Star Celebrity Basketball Game. And they got a lot of people in the DM saying Big G and BTV, the Oracle. And don't you forget the TV. And you better always remember the Oracle. What's your perspective on that situation with Breezy and Ruffles and the NBA? What's your thoughts exactly on everything that took place with Chris Brown and the Ruffles brand in the NBA? And I gotta say, it's disgusting work, my G's. It's disgusting work, and I ain't gonna lie, I've been watching it for a few days. I've been getting DMs for a few days. And because, you know, when it come to Breezy, it is a little bit personal. I wanted to sit back. I wanted to see what everybody was going to say. I wanted to see what perspective, what angles they was going to use when it come to Breezy, when it come to Ruffles, and when it come to the NBA. And not just the NBA, but the whole industry, the higher ups and the elites. The black ball, the dark cloud that been over Chris Brown for a long time. I wanted to sit back. I wanted to digest the information. And one thing for sure, two things for certain, I always recognize that the perspective that you get here at Grown Man Business TV is like none other. It's like no other. The perspective, the angles that I bring to the game, that I bring to this content creating situation, you're not going to hear it nowhere else. Nowhere else, homie. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to hear a lot of people talking about the same topics. We all talk about the same topics, But with the perspective and the thought process of what you get when you come to Grown Man Business TV, it's like no other. It's like no other. And I had to pat myself on the back and say, man, where do this information come from? You got to be connected with the ancestors. I mean, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. But Breezy, yeah, that's Lil Bro. That's my dog. That's my little bro. That's the homie right there. Known him for a long time. I told y'all a long time ago that the higher ups and the elites opened the door for me. I looked in and said, nah, I'm good. Oh yeah, the higher ups and the elites, they opened the door for me a long time ago. I looked in and said, nah, I'm good. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Now you got a lot of people wondering, and you got a lot of people thinking that they really know what's going on with this blackball. You know, we all know what happened with Rihanna. We all saw the situation. We all thought it was disgusting work when we seen what Chris Brown did to Rihanna. And that one situation, that one action, that one incident been following Chris Brown his whole career. His whole career. But see, I'm here to tell you, right? The Chris Brown in that picture, the Chris Brown in the thumbnail of this live stream had not got with Rihanna yet. See, he hadn't stained his career yet. He was still pure. He hadn't been introduced to the higher ups and the elites, and he hadn't been introduced to the door yet. See, when you look at the surface of this, right? When you look at the surface, and you already know when you come here at Grown Man Business TV, we gonna scratch the surface. But when you look at the surface, it's easy to say, yeah, what he did to Rihanna is the reason why he been blackballed all of this time. It's the reason he been blackballed by the higher ups and the elites for his whole career. But it's deeper than rap. It's always deeper than rap, my G's. And like I said, I'm not gonna stay long. I gotta be somewhere early in the morning, and I know it's kind of late. So we gonna get right into the situation. We gonna get right into the meat and potatoes of this thing. Chris Brown is a young legend, a living legend, and he is straight out of that 757. Now let's ride with this. You know, you got a young Chris Breezy, a young Chris Brown starting his career. He got the ball rolling. You know, he's the hottest. He's the next big thing. Everybody knows the Run It song. You know, I was around for all that. Everybody knows Yo. Everybody knows the songs that Chris Brown is pushing out, and his career is going up. But he has an incident. He has a situation with his girlfriend at the time, Rihanna, you know, bad girl Riri. And it gets ugly, my G. It gets physical. And it goes around the world. It's the fight heard around the world. You know, it's the pictures of Rihanna that even to this day, it was hard for me to really understand that Lil Bro did that. I didn't see where that came from. I ain't gonna lie, she took a beating. It was disgusting work. You understand what I'm saying? And yeah, you know, he had to pay for that. He had to go through the humiliation ritual just like every other celebrity has to go through the humiliation ritual. Breezy had to go. He had to do it. I was around for it. I understood, yeah, you go forward, and it's inevitable that you're going to have to go through the humiliation ritual. They're going to build you up to tear you down. And a lot of the times, people that in tune with the channel, that's watching the content, that's gaining knowledge and gaining, you know, information, intel from this Grown Man Business TV, what they don't understand and what I don't brag on and what I don't push to the people and what I don't shove down your throat is the fact that, you know, I was rubbing shoulders with all of the favorite rappers, all of your favorite, you know, Joel Santana, Lil Wayne, Breezy. This was the time, you know, them franchise boys, you know, Cherish. This was the time, Usher, Neo. This was a time. You understand what I'm saying? So I was able to see first and foremost the process that the higher ups and the elites put you through. I was able to really get a first-hand look, a bird eye view on what goes down with these puppets, with these celebrities. And Breezy being the homie, again, being Lil Bro, my dog. That's my dog to this day. I told you, Zippy, I got rich friends. I just don't brag on them like, yeah, I don't do all that. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. But even Lil Bro had to go through the blender for the higher ups and the elites. So yeah, he had a situation with Rihanna. It got sticky, it got physical. And after that, the humiliation ritual began. But see, with Breezy, it was a little bit different. Oh, we gonna get into this. With Breezy, with Lil Bro, it was a little bit different. See, the majority of these celebrities, they go through the humiliation ritual, right? And then after they go through the humiliation ritual, it's a time where they can recover, where they can bounce back, where they can regain their status, where they can regain their celebrity. And then if it goes left, they will have to go through another humiliation ritual, but they get a chance to rebuild. They get a chance of redemption. And you got to ask yourself, why hasn't Breezy, why hasn't Chris Brown had a chance to redeem himself from a mistake he made all the way back in 2004, 2005? Over 20 years, yeah, about 20 years ago, the higher ups and the elites refused to let him redeem himself. They actually used that one humiliation ritual and they stained his career for the last 20 years over one incident. Nobody lost their life. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody was R-worded. It was a physical altercation that got out of hand. And for some reason, and again, I'm here to break this down because, like I said, I'm not hearing nobody going into the deep details of this situation. Nobody's asking himself, what does Chris Brown have to do to redeem himself? Why haven't the higher ups and the elites allowed him to redeem that situation where you gonna get that here at Grown Man Business TV, my G? I'm here to tell you exactly why Chris Brown has not redeemed himself, why they using the same humiliation ritual from 2005 to still stain and blackball Chris Brown from reaching certain levels in the industry. Now listen, let me tell you something. They didn't blackball him from the industry because Chris Brown is, yeah, he's profitable. He's a living legend. He's a legend in the flesh. So they didn't blackball him from the industry like they do some celebrities, but they blackball him. They put a ceiling on his celebrity status. They put a cap on how high he can go on the totem pole when it comes to this celebrity thing. And you got to, again, these is the questions that you got to ask yourself, and these is the questions that need answers. Everybody's just saying, yes, he got in a situation with Rihanna, and that's why. You think that's all it take? You know, think about how many celebrities have put their hands on females. Think about how many celebrities have domestic violence cases under their belt. Yeah. I mean, it get deep, it get wicked, and it's always deep in a rap. I recently saw a video of Dana White, huh? Yeah, the CEO of the UFC, the whole fighting arena. Yeah, he manhandled his wife at that casino, backhanded his wife. Get in your place, and nobody has blackballed Dana White, but for some reason. Chris Brown cannot redeem himself. They cannot get over the fact that he made a mistake as a young man. They will not allow him to have a second chance. And it's a reason for that. Yeah, it's a real reason for that. That's where it get deep at. That's where Grown Man Business TV come in at. And see, again, I seen a lot of thumbnails that I was going to use. And something told me, make this one personal, Grown Man Business TV. Make this one personal. When you look at that thumbnail, you don't see no backstage passes around my neck. When you look at that thumbnail, you don't see no handbands around my ear. You don't see nothing around my wrist. When you look at that thumbnail, you don't see no meet and greet passes. You don't see none of that. It's personal, homie. That's the little bro. I'm not the one that got snuck in the club. Oh yeah, let him. No, 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 no. I was everywhere. That's why I can make this one personal. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. So yeah, a lot of people is trying to figure out what's going on. Why isn't Breezy allowed to redeem himself? And this is one of the big situations when it comes to the whole Chris Brown and Rihanna situation. Chris Brown is a legend in the flesh. And see, the last person that let me rephrase that. Chris Brown reminds the higher ups and the elites of one of these legends that they didn't have any control over. Chris Brown is the modern day Michael Jackson. And I know when you think about Michael Jackson, you thinking about the moonwalk. You thinking about Billie Jean is not my lover, but I'm telling you, it's deeper than rap. We scratching the surface over here. It's not the average. It's not what you see with the naked eye, my G. Yeah, Chris Brown is the modern day Michael Jackson. Now let's talk about Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was a genius. I mean, he had the higher ups and the elites fooled, and he had the fans fooled. He had everybody fooled. Michael Jackson was so close with the higher ups and the elites that he learned and he peeped the weakness in the game and he sold it. He peeped the weakness in the higher ups and the elites and he sold it. See, Michael Jackson realized the higher ups and the elites are scared of an aggressive black man. A black man that's business savvy, a black man that know what he want. The higher ups and the elites are scared of a black man with a deep voice, with that baritone. So what did Michael Jackson do? He started to lighten up a little bit, right? Not only did he lighten up due to the disease that he had, not only did he lighten up, he started to bring that voice down. Now, mind you, I want y'all to ride with me because I'm going somewhere with this. I'm going somewhere with this. Michael Jackson, he stopped talking with that deep voice that he used to sing with as a child, and he started talking real soft and light. Real soft and light. We all know how Michael Jackson used to talk. I ain't even going to try to emulate it. We all know how soft and light Michael Jackson used to talk. But see, Michael Jackson peeped the weakness in the higher ups and the elites, and he sold it. So after he started talking light, after he started, being real like feminine acting and, moving a certain way, the higher ups and the elites got comfortable around Michael Jackson. They said, oh, he's a star. He's our biggest puppet. Yeah, we got one with MJ. We got one with Michael. But see, again, he had everybody fooled. Michael Jackson was a genius. And as soon as he made the higher ups and the elites comfortable, he pulled a chess move out of this world. Soon as he made them comfortable, soon as he caught them slipping, he turned around and he brought the catalogs of all of the artists that we know about. The Beatles, Eminem, Mariah Carey. He owned everybody. I mean, I'm talking about even artists like that singer Pink. He owned everybody's publishing. Michael Jackson, he crept up on him. He made him relax, and he brought everybody's publishing. Michael Jackson was a savage when it came to the business. Michael Jackson was one of the ones that they thought they had control over, and come to find out they had no control over. So what did they have to do? They had to get rid of Michael. They had to get rid of Michael Jackson. And the same people that had beef with Michael Jackson just recently brought his catalog for $1.2 billion. That's how deep the game went with Michael Jackson. That's how real it was. It was a war in the streets. And then you got Little Breezy, Little Chris Brown, Little Bro, my dog. And they see Michael Jackson in Chris Brown. Listen, I'm trying to give you the game, my G. They see MJ in Chris Brown. We all see MJ in Chris Brown. We all know what he's capable of. We all seen his potential a long time ago. And when the higher-ups and the elites finally got rid of Michael Jackson, finally checkmated Michael Jackson, yeah, we got you. You out of here. You know that doctor that you hired? He's been compromised. So he's going to get you out of here for us, the higher-ups and the elites. See, Michael Jackson yeah, listen, man, he took him down and through there for a long time. Michael Jackson was one of the few artists, one of the few celebrities that even though the higher-ups and the elites play chess at the highest level, Michael Jackson was playing chess at a higher level. I mean, he took them for all they was worth. I mean, he owned everybody's publishing, my G, Michael Jackson. So now you got Lil Breezy, you got Lil Bro, you got him admiring Michael, admiring the artistry, admiring the music, admiring the choreography, the dancing of Michael Jackson. And now you got Lil Chris Brown, Lil Breezy, Lil Bro, emulating Michael Jackson, and everybody can see Michael Jackson in Chris Brown. What's the one thing you hear people say? And listen, man, again, that picture speaks 1,000 words. I'm here to tell you that even back then, people would walk up and tell him, you are the closest thing to Michael Jackson we have ever seen. And he hadn't even broken out of his shell yet. Yeah, in that picture, he wasn't even a full-on star yet. He was on his road to stardom. He was on his road to celebrity. And people would walk up to us, and I would watch them tell Chris Breezy, listen, young man, you are the closest thing to Michael Jackson I've ever seen. So with Chris Brown being the closest thing to Michael Jackson that anybody has ever seen, you got to understand the threat that the higher-ups and the elites felt towards Chris Brown, even at that young age right there, even as a young man, as a young teenager, they were scared of Breezy. But see, back in those days, right, everyone was still on the grind. Breezy was still, you know, he always said he wanted to be the best. He always said he wanted to be top of the mountain. But at that time, you know, you building your celebrity. You paying your dues. You don't know how far you can take it. So with the knowledge that I have now, right? With the wisdom that I have now, with my third eye being as open as it is now, I can look back in hindsight and say, yeah, even back then, the higher-ups and the elites was plotting on Chris Brown. Because one thing for sure, two things for certain, they wasn't going to make the same mistake they made with Michael Jackson. They wasn't going to be fooled and bamboozled the same way Michael Jackson fooled and bamboozled the higher-ups and the elites. So when they see Michael Jackson and Chris Brown, they was plotting on Lil Bro all the way back then. We just didn't know nothing at that time. We wasn't aware of the higher-ups and the elites. We wasn't aware of how real it was. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't no coincidence that Rihanna ended up in Chris Brown's lap. It ain't no coincidence that Jay-Z was connected to Rihanna. This ain't no coincidence, even though back in the day, to us, even when he started dating Rihanna, it was almost like it was a coincidence. It was like, wow, yo, homie is knocking Rihanna off. I mean, we used to talk about these things when he first started knocking off Rihanna. We used to have conversations, homie. Me, Breezy, the background dancers, my people, we used to have, yeah, he used to tell us things about, and he was in love with Rihanna. And it's almost like she came out of nowhere. The trap was set early with Chris Brown because the resemblance of Michael Jackson was so intense. The higher ups in the elite said, we not gonna make the same mistake we made with Michael Jackson, letting this young man rise into stardom, letting this young man rock us to sleep, thinking that he's cool and calm and collective, and the whole time he's a business savage, and he wants the publishing, and he wants to take over. Look at the influence that Chris Brown has. You don't see the resemblance to Michael Jackson? Oh, yeah, man. Nobody's gonna come from this angle. Nobody's gonna give you the perspective from this angle. Michael Jackson is not who you think he was. Michael Jackson was not what you thought he was, my G. He was not this frail, light-skinned guy that was turning lighter by the day, that spoke real soft like an old lady and was very fragile. No, Michael Jackson was a savage. Michael Jackson learned how to con the higher ups and the elites. That's why he was dropping songs like "They Don't Really Care About Us," calling them kikes and all of that. We might not have knew what that meant, but trust me, they knew what Michael Jackson was talking about. And if you don't know, if you young, you know what I'm saying, and you tapped into Grown Man Business TV, and you never seen a Michael Jackson "They Don't Really Care About Us" video, I suggest that you go watch it. I suggest that you go watch it. He made it years ago, and it's relevant to what's happening on this U.S. soil, on this globe, right this very moment. And he wrote it and did this video years ago. So Michael Jackson wasn't what you thought he was. And then it's the same thing with Chris Brown, because again, we talking about Breezy, we talking about Lil Bro. At this time, Chris Brown had the double mint gum contract. I remember Breezy being so happy because, it was unprecedented. Double mint gum is a prestigious company. It's a prestigious endorsement. Everybody knows about double mint gum. And Chris Brown was like the first R&B urban music, guy. Urban music, R&B, hip hop, young, fly, flashy. He was the first one to be able to really lock in a lucrative contract, a lucrative endorsement with double mint gum. And he had a song called I think it was called Forever. Forever, forever. Come on, man. Don't get me to sing it, but I'm not Breezy, but I'm trying to give you the feeling. I'm trying to restore the feeling. He had that song, man, and it was made for the Double Mint Gum commercial. And I remember him being so happy because he inked that deal and it was lucrative. There was a lot of paper involved. And again, looking back with the third eye open in hindsight, I always tell y'all that the higher ups and the elites, yes, a Supreme Science, yeah, Forever, 2008. Legendary song. He did that for the Double Mint Gum commercial. And again, looking back in hindsight, I always tell y'all that the higher ups and the elites are gonna build you up just to tear you down. They're gonna build you up to tear you down. And they always build you up to tear you down for a reason. It's a reason. And again, us being young, not being aware to what was going on, not being aware to the evils, everything feels and looks and seems, and the texture of it is coincidence. He gets the double mint gum joint. It's big, it's huge, it's major, it's all over. Every media platform, every news outlet is talking about Chris Brown and double mint gum. And then next thing you know, the situation with Rihanna happens, and boom, The whole endorsement deal is gone. And I remember, everybody being confused, everybody thinking like, man, how could Breezy let this slip through his fingers, not understanding at the time the higher ups and the elites was never going to allow another Michael Jackson to take over the industry the way Michael Jackson took over the industry. So the whole time, my little bro, Chris Breezy, is inspiring. He's admiring. He wants to be everything Michael Jackson is to the game, to R&B music, to the industry, not understanding that that's the worst thing you could be to the industry. Think about how big Chris Brown is at this present moment in time, how huge of an artist he is, how huge of an influence that Chris Brown has on the youth as well as adults. There's almost no other artist, maybe Drake, that has the influence, that has the power structure as Chris Brown, but for some reason, Drake can do 100 million. Drake can do any and every endorsement. Drake can do a song with Sexy Red. He can do a song with Alicia Keys. He can do anything. There is no cap. There is no roof. Right? But Chris Brown is being stalled. He's being blackballed. He's being held back. Even at an NBA All-Star celebrity game, he can't make it because it's controversy over something he did a long time ago. And I like to use Drake as an example as well, because let's not act like Drake is innocent. Let's not act like Drake hasn't done things that, he regrets from back in the day. When he put on blackface, you got Drake, a young Drake, with lipstick on and in a whole face of makeup, blackface. But because Drake is powerful, but he's not Michael Jackson. Yeah, he just talked that Michael Jackson talk. The higher ups and the elites already understood Chris Brown is the biggest. And Chris Brown is smart as Michael Jackson, but he messed up and he gave them one chink in his armor, and that was what happened with Rihanna. They have nothing else that they can use to blackball Chris Brown. They have nothing else that they can use to stifle his career, to create an image and a narrative. So Chris Brown, Breezy, Lil Bro, he gave the higher ups and the elites exactly what they need, exactly what they want to be able to play chess at the highest level. See, Michael Jackson, there was no internet, there was no social media, there was no platforms on that nature. And Michael Jackson got a lot of accusations. I'm talking like they was planting kids on him. They said he was doing X, Y, and Z with the kids. And if you ask me, I never believed it. And not only did I not believe it, but years later, multiple upon multiple kids came out and said Michael never touched them. Michael never did nothing to him. They came out and they spoke out as adults and said nothing ever happened between them and Michael Jackson. And see, that's what I mean. They was trying to paint that narrative on Michael Jackson, and it worked to a certain extent. It worked to a certain extent. But while they was working on painting the narrative, Michael Jackson was buying up everybody's publishing. Listen, he even owned the Beatles. He even owned the Beatles. He went and brought the Beatles' whole catalog. Elvis. Michael Jackson was a genius. Yeah, Michael Jackson was a genius. They don't want you to know that side of it. So anybody emulating Michael Jackson, and I'm not just talking about doing the moonwalk. I'm not just talking about, doing Billie Jean is not my lover. I'm not just talking about singing a song bad, but anybody emulating Michael Jackson, from the dance moves to the boardroom, they a target. Yeah. Anybody emulating Michael Jackson from the dance room, from the dance moves to the boardrooms are a target. Breezy. There's no reason why Breezy, listen to me. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Chris Brown or Usher, we want Chris Breezy. We want Lil Bro. If we could have Chris Brown or Usher at the Super Bowl, we want Chris Brown. We want Lil Bro. And I'm gonna tell you something. He would bring up, listen, he would bring such a huge crowd. He's the biggest artist. He's the biggest with it. That's what nobody ever put a finger on. That's what nobody was able to really bring to light. The why. Why is he blackballed? It's so easy for them to say it was because of Rihanna, that nobody looks at the higher ups and the elites. Nobody looks at the resemblance to Michael Jackson, homie. They don't want another Michael Jackson. They don't want another young black man with such enormous talent in the dance floor and the boardroom without excuse me, without the control over him. Again, like I said, they thought they had control over Michael, but they wasn't holding the leash tight. And yeah, the dog came out. The dog got loose. And when the dog got loose, they couldn't even bring him in. He got loose and he went in that boardroom and he had his people buy up everything. Michael Jackson bought up the whole record label worth of publishing. He owned all the publishing. He was a genius, homie. You think so now you can put two and two together. You can say, oh, that really makes sense. I understand, I know what he did with Rihanna back in the day, and I know that he made a mistake, and he did, he put his hands on Shorty, and that was wrong. You don't put your hands on a female. But why we can't forgive him 15, 20 years later? Why he can't redeem himself 15 to 20 years later? He made a mistake as a young man. We all was upset about it, but trust me, all of us feel, we done seen so much in this world. We done seen so much drama. We done seen so many rappers get their heads blown off. R.I.P. to Takeoff. We watched him get his dreadlocks blown off. We watched Nipsey Hussle get his head blown off. We watched Young Dolph get his head blown off at a cookie shop. Why we can't forgive Chris Brown for what he did as a young man, a mistake that he made? Matter of fact, we all feel like he should be forgiven. We forgive him. Rihanna she done grew up. She done got married. She got kids. She with ASAP Rocky. She's happy. I'm sure she don't think too much about what happened with Chris Brown. She probably don't even think about Chris Brown. Why we can't forgive him? Why they want to keep pushing it in our face? Why they want to keep shoving what he did 10, 20 years ago in our face and making us hate Chris Brown? Why? Because as soon as we stop hating Chris Brown, as soon as we stop looking at what he did 20 years ago, now we're going to look at the genius in Chris Brown. Now we're going to look at the Michael Jackson in Chris Brown. And they don't want another Michael Jackson. They don't want another Prince. They don't want these type of artists, homie, breaking away from the industry. Not only did Breezy, just reach astronomical heights with this music thing, he also went independent with a lot of his albums. They recognized how he was growing, how he was learning from the footsteps of Michael Jackson. And I ain't just talking about Beat It. I ain't just talking about Billie Jean, homie. I'm talking about everything else, the boardroom, the business room. Yeah, we get into the business part of this. They won't let Chris Brown redeem himself because they need full control over that talent. They need full control over that star. They need full control over that puppet. I'm gonna give you some good game right here. I'm gonna give you some good game right here. Imagine if Chris Brown made songs about smacking Rihanna down. Imagine if Chris songs made. Imagine if Breezy, Lil Bro. Imagine if he made songs about beating Rihanna up. Imagine if he made songs about sliding on Rihanna in that Lamborghini. Yeah, I slid on Riri. I slid on her. Yeah, I slid on Riri. I slid on her. Oh, he be big time. Imagine if Breezy imagine if Breezy became the villain and start making songs about backhanding Rihanna, backhander. I'm a backhand Rihanna, I'm a backhander. And he just said, I'm gonna become the villain. That's what the industry want. That's what they love. If he became the villain, if he became the villain, they would really have control. They would monetize and monopolize and they would capitalize off that situation. Probably make trillions of dollars if he made songs. Like these young boys make songs about smoking your dead ops. And these young boys make songs about sliding the block. What if Chris Brown made songs about sliding on Reap? Yeah, bitch, I slid on that. Hey, bitch, get your guy. Bitch, I told you. I told you. Get your bit. I'm just saying though. I'm just saying, imagine that. Imagine how far he'd go. Imagine the things they would let him do. Imagine all the concerts that he been blackballed from, they would let him do. Listen, imagine Chris Brown do a song with Sexy Red and say, man, I'ma smack my baby mama like I used to do Riri. I slam my baby mama like I used to do Rihanna. I slam my baby mama like I used to do Rihanna. Bitch, I smack the baby mama like I used to do Rihanna. And then you put Sexy Red on the backdrop. Hands on the knees. Make that ass, bitch. Not do that for Creed. Make that for Reed. He smacking it bitch like Riri. He smacking it bitch like Riri. Yeah, he smacking it bitch like Riri. Make those bands over. Make that coochie breathe. Bend that ass, bitch. He smack that bitch like Riri. He smack that bitch like Riri. He smack that bitch like Riri. Imagine that. Imagine all the halftime shows he'd be able to do. Imagine the Grammys and all of the Oscars and all of the shows that he been blackballed. All he got to say is, I smack my bitch like Riri. I'm trying to give you the game, homie. The higher-ups and the elites don't want another, they don't really care about us song. They don't want another, they don't really care about us from Michael Jackson. They want Chris Brown to sing about smacking Riri. But see, Chris Brown, all he wanted to do is redeem himself. All he wanted to do is be forgiven. All Chris Brown wanted over these last 20 years is a second chance. And nah, they don't want to give you a second chance, little bro. They want you to get with Drake. They want you to get with Sexy Red, and they want you to talk about how you was slapping Riri. Bend that ass over and make that coochie breathe. Shake that ass. He smack ass like Riri. He smack that ass like Riri. He smack that ass. I mean, it sound good. I probably could go viral with this. Yeah. It get deep, it get wicked, and it's always deeper than rap now. Again, like I said, a lot of the times, for the majority of times when I do these live streams, when I do these videos, it's never personal. It's always business. But when it come to Lil Bro, when it come to Lil Breezy, when it come to the Lil Bro, it's definitely a little bit personal. When it come to 757, when it come to Virginia, when it come to Tappahannock, when it come to Petersburg and Richmond, when it come to Alexandria, I'm talking to 757 as a whole, my G. Virginia as a whole, yeah, it's personal. It's personal. And I had to give this perspective because nobody is going to say this. You're not going to hear this anywhere else. You know, the world we living in, the day and age we living in, if I tell little bro this. We don't need no more heroes, homie. It's time to become the villain. Chris Brown, it's time for you to become the villain. And you should tell them hoes to bend over and make that coochie breathe for you smack them down like you did Riri. You need to make a song telling them to bend over and make that coochie breathe. Shake it for you smack them like you did. You got to be the villain in this. The game is the game. The game is the game. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Now, you know, um, it just made me think about one of the times, you know. Now, you gotta be, again, a lot of you youngsters don't remember, but it was a tour called the Up Close and Personal Tour. It was a tour that Chris Brown was on with Bow Wow and Lil Wayne and Joel Santana and them franchise boys back in the day. Yeah, you got to be an old head to remember them franchise boys. And it was a girl group named Cherish that was on his tour as well. And it was a female named Megan Rochelle. She had a song with Joel Santana, and she had a song with Fabulous back in the day. This particular tour, I was all over the place with these guys. I was with Breezy, I was with some family. I'm connected to them, and I was able to travel, and I was able to see how the industry worked. I'm one of the content creators that actually have rubbed shoulders and did certain things within the industry enough to know that I wasn't going to go no further into the industry. But in those days, it would be nothing to be around T-Pain, smoking with T-Pain and the Nappy Boys, smoking with Lil Wayne. I done smoked a ton of haze back in the day, and hydro. That's what we used to smoke with Lil Wayne and Joel Santana and the Bird Gang. Um, and I say all that to say this, man. Knowing what I know now, Breezy had a target on his back even when we took that picture. Even when we took that picture, when Breezy was wearing the little chain with the Mickey Mouse on it, all he wanted to do was be big in the game. And at that time I was running the streets. I was knee deep in the streets out there in Virginia. When I first met Chris Breezy, I had a P89 Ruger on my hip. I was fully loaded, knee deep in the streets. And he knew that. He knew who I was before he met me. They would talk, dudes from Virginia that was in cahoots with him and people that did business with him. They knew of me before he met me. So when he met me, he already knew what it was and he loved it. He was a young dude. And I remember one night we were at Popular Hall. Popular Hall was it's like a hall. It's like this it's a theater. That's the word I was looking for. It's a theater out there in the 757. I don't think it's there anymore, but I'm not sure. It could be. But we was at Popular Hall. It was after a concert that he did. And I'll never forget it. We were backstage. It was it was pack house, and Joel Santana had a song called "Murder, Murder, My Murder, Murder, My Murder." I'm a murder, murder, my murder. That was Joel. Joel had a song that went like that: "Murder, murder, my murder, murder." And um, I'll never forget it. Everybody was looking straight. Everybody was looking into the crowd, and I just so happened to glance to the left, and I saw Bree. He was standing like right next to me, but the way this nigga was dancing and doing like dancing to the music, and like the shit was like the way he was dancing. It was like I never seen nobody dance like that before, and I remember very vividly in my head like saying like, "Yo, he the one, yo," because he didn't see me watching him. He didn't see me looking at him, but I was watching him, and he just he been talented like that since a child, bro. Since 15, 16 years old, this nigga been next level with like dancing and choreography and like just the movements. And I knew he was the one. I knew he was the one. And he became the one. And like I said, even when we took that picture in the thumbnail, um, the higher ups and the elites had their eye on Chris Brown. The higher ups and the elites was watching Breezy. He was already in they sights. He already had a target on his back. And being as though my third eye wasn't open back then, I was heavily influenced by the streets. I was heavily influenced by the narrative that had been painted for us to be products of our environment. And our environment was what it was. And, you had Pusha T running around Virginia. You had the Clips. You had this is back before smartphones. This is back when you had to be hands-on. You didn't get a name for yourself unless you got off the porch and put your hands on shit. It ain't like now where we can look at these phones and we could talk to 50 some people and we can have watch time and you know yeah, it ain't like it was nothing like it is now. We came up, so they was watching him back then. Back then I thought the music industry just like anybody else thought of the music industry. I thought that, we need to get a deal. We need to get on. We need to be able to get rich. We want to get in the industry. And the whole time they was watching Breezy. They realized very early that Chris Brown was the closest thing to Michael Jackson. And they realized very early that they was going to put him through a humiliation ritual to stunt his growth, to be able to blackball him, to be able to control him, never, ever reaching the status, at least business-wise, that Michael Jackson reached. You can be the biggest star in the world, Chris Brown. You can be the greatest dancer that ever lived. You can be like Mike, but you'll never be the businessman. We will never allow you to buy up everybody's publishing with the money you make off of us. We will not allow you. We will not allow you to make songs like We Are the World. We will not allow you to make songs like They Don't Really Care About Us. We will not allow you. Shit, you play ball the wrong way, you won't even be able to play basketball at an NBA All-Star celebrity game. As big as Chris Brown is as big of an artist as he is, he didn't get on the court. He couldn't even play basketball with Kai Cenat. Chris Brown is 10 times, 20 times, 100 times bigger than Kai Cenat. Breezy, homie. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Again, man, it's never gonna be personal for the most part, and it's always gonna be business. But when it come to Lil Bro, and again, I could walk down on Chris Breezy today. He know me by my first name and he know me by my alias. And if I see him right now, after him making hundreds of millions of dollars, when I see him, it's gonna be, what up, Lil Bro? And he gonna dap that. He gonna put a dap to that. What it do? What's good with it? What it do, Lil Bro? Lil Bro. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be, man. The game is the game. The information is the information. And I needed to get out there why Chris Brown has not been able to redeem himself, why they will not allow him to be forgiven, why they will not give him a second chance, because all he needs is a second chance to take over. And I'm not talking about the industry. I'm not talking about the music. He done already did that. Movies, music, dancing, any part of that side of the industry, he has conquered that. He's king of that. But yeah, them boardrooms, them same boardrooms that Michael Jackson was able to get in when he bought the Beatles publishing Breezy will never be able to access those doors. And they used the Rihanna situation. They used the whole incident with his girlfriend 20 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? They used that to keep him out them boardrooms. They used that to keep him out those doors. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Now listen, man. You know, again, I don't brag about my rich friends. I don't brag about the rich friends, but I go on the phone right now and I could call anytime, anywhere. If I'm in the same city, it's a show going on at. If I'm there, I'm backstage. I'm in there. I'm clear. It's swimwear. Wherever the after party's at, I'm in there. I used to do that so much that shit don't mean nothing to me now. You know how many blunts I rolled up with Lil Weezy? You know how many blunts I smoked with Joel Santana, T-Pain, Chris. You know how many celebrities I done rubbed shoulders with to the point where I understand what they are. I understand what they are. So when I come and talk to y'all, y'all know it ain't coming from no hate. It ain't personal. It's all business. When I tell you they puppets, when I tell you that they got strings attached to them, when I tell you the ins and outs, when it comes to the higher ups and the elites, it's because I used to rub shoulders with these same very people. I could have been at certain parties that would have got me through that door. Yeah, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. When things, let's get a little bit deeper. I'm not gonna stay long. We almost 60 minutes in, but I'll say this right. In this picture right here that you see on this thumbnail, Breezy hadn't moved to California yet. That's where it got sticky at. That's where things started to change right there. That's when I was able to start seeing certain things and certain movements that I wasn't used to when it came to Lil Bro. So in that picture in this thumbnail, Breezy hadn't moved to California yet. He was still doing the tour. We was touring around. There was no home base. Virginia was the home base. Tappahannock, Virginia was still the home base. So when it was time to, lock in, if we was gonna go home, we was going back to Virginia because Virginia was still our home. And then soon enough, right, after the situation with Rihanna, soon enough, Chris Brown, Lil Bro, he made California his home. He got the phone call, the higher ups and the elites. You want to redeem yourself, huh? You want to get back in position. You want to be like Mike Jackson. You want to do the things Michael Jackson did because you are the new generation's Michael Jackson. You need to come to Hollywood. You need to come to the West Coast. We need to keep an eye on you. Yeah, you're gonna love it out here. It's beautiful women, it's palm trees. We got the best weed, but we got the best cocaine too. I don't want that to go over your head or under your bridge, but it was certain things that the homie was doing. It was certain moves that the homie was making that I wasn't used to. And me being from the streets and me not understanding the things you're gonna have to do to be in this industry, I wasn't with it and I wasn't willing to go. Let me say that again. Let me say that again. In that thumbnail right there that you see for this video, Lil Bro, Chris Breezy, my dog, my Lil Bro, he hadn't moved to California yet. We was touring around and we was all over with the up close and personal tour. We was moving around city to city, state to state, crossing state lines at all times. And when we was in time, when it was downtime, we was going back to Virginia. We was going back to our home. But soon the Rihanna situation took place. And soon after the Rihanna situation took place, things started to happen that I wasn't really comfortable with. Things started to happen that I was looking sideways at because I wasn't used to Lil Bro moving a certain way. That phone call got made, and you know what? It was the higher ups and the elites. Yeah. We need you in California. If you wanna redeem yourself, if you wanna get a second chance, if you wanna be able to be like Mike, we need you to come to California because secretly they needed more control over Breezy. They was fearful. Yeah, we got him with this situation with Rihanna, but is that gonna be enough? Because people love Chris Brown. We need a little bit more control. We need you on the West Coast. We need you in Hollywood. And the more exposure I got to these celebrities, the more shoulders I was able to rub with these celebrities, the more I was starting to see that certain things I wasn't with. I wasn't with that. I come from an era where, we wasn't the drug users, we was the drug dealers. Who they are. You know, the owners, the Leo Cohens, the Russell Simmons, and it goes higher. Who owns and the Jimmy Iovine's, the you know the what's the Andre Harrell's, it is a long list of theys. So you just use they to punch them all and put them all in one box, but it's a long list of theys. You understand me, homie? The owners of Atlantic. Who owns Atlantic Records? Who owns Sony? Who owns Universal? Who owns these empires? These are the ones that's reaching down to the minions and saying, yeah, we need Breezy on the West Coast. And then you got your Jimmy Iovine's or your Andre Harrell's or your X, Y, and Z's making the phone call to the man, yeah, we need you on the West Coast. The higher ups and the elites, they want you over here. Yeah, we got the best weed in Cali. We got some great cocaine in Cali. Beautiful women. And next thing you know, the Chris Brown that I knew in that picture is not the Chris Brown that I knew anymore. So when Breezy went to make that move to Cali, I came to Cali once or twice, you know, just because I still thought, I still thought it was what it was, and I got to Cali once or twice, and I realized that it wasn't what it was. Like I said, I came up in the era where it wasn't cool to do the drugs; it was cool to sell them. We was never the drug users. We was the drug dealers. But when you go to California, when you go to Hollywood, and they start introducing you to new drugs, and you start experimenting with things, and you start to experiment with more women, and you start to have a threesomes and foursomes and fivesomes and orgies now, and you starting to get into these habits. That's when the higher ups and the elites get you right where they want you. And if you notice, it happens to the majority of artists. What's your choice? What's your vice? Or you like lean? We got you. We got the best lean. Or you like cocaine? We got you. We got the best coke. Oh, you like X, Y, and Z? We got you. We got X, Y, and Z. And we gonna trap you with one of your, yeah, we gonna trap you with that. You like women? Come to California. We got the best women. That's when I knew, nah. So I made my way back to Virginia. I made my way back to the urban community. I made my way back to what I knew best. And I bumped my head a few times. And years went by with me and Breezy really not being in contact with each other. Years went by. And he had to go through the things he had to go through. And he had to do the things he had to do. And in due time, we was in the same room again, and we chopped it up, and it was just like it was like we never left. That's why I say to this day, I can go on my phone right now when I can call Breezy. I could call Lil Bro. There's nobody else out there that we compare to Michael Jackson. There is no other artist. There is no other male or female artist that we look at and see Michael Jackson reincarnated. But when we look at Breezy, when we look at Lil Bro, we see Michael Jackson reincarnated. And they have done everything possible to smother that. They have done everything possible to muffle that. Now, when you resemble Michael Jackson, it ain't much they can do to stop you from getting rich. It ain't much they can do from stop you from being great, to stop you from reaching a high level of success. But you got to understand something. Breezy is Breezy is he could have owned all of their public. He could have really, and he was going to do that. That's why Breezy wasn't able to. Yeah, that's why he's been blackballed. Because he's the new generation's Michael Jackson. And they have reduced my little bro. They have reduced him down to, somebody that beat up Rihanna, to a drug user, to a womanizer. They've reduced him down to that so that he never reached the potential. So he never reach. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Listen, man, if you have not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. I don't know what you're waiting for, my G. See, we don't ask for cash apps over here. We don't ask for super chats over here. We don't do none of that. All we ask for is time and energy, because time and energy is the highest forms of currency at all times, my G. At all times, time and energy is the highest forms of currency. So I suggest you hit that subscribe button. I suggest you tap that subscribe button. We are only growing organically. I've carved out a lane for the real, and I'm the only one in it. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Nah. Phil All-Star, you ain't looking hard enough, homie. You might be one of the only ones that say that. See, this is what you gotta understand, right? This is something I explained to somebody earlier. And I suggest you guys use this, and I suggest you guys take this game. There are always going to be small exceptions to the rules. Always going to be small exceptions to the rules. So anytime you say something, anytime you do something, it's always going to be a small percentage of people that's going to disagree or not see eye to eye. And that's how it's supposed to be. So if you don't see Michael Jackson and Chris Brown, I can accept that, because you're probably one of a million people that don't see Michael Jackson and Chris Brown. So I can accept that. But for the majority of us that can see clearly, for the majority of us that know what, we already know there is no other person that can perform and make you feel like you looking at Mike, homie. And Mike was a dangerous man in that boardroom. Mike was a dangerous man when it came to that business. Mike was a dangerous man when it came to exposing the high erupts and the elites, homie. He was dangerous. You just got to be able to see past the smoke and mirrors. You got to be able to see, you got to be able to scratch the surface, B. Mike was dangerous. 757, man, that's the area code, man. That's Virginia. That's Virginia, man. It's something else as well, but I with this internet thing, I could tell y'all what else it is, and y'all motherfuckers be done found me, did some research and found I can't do all that. Man, it's the 757 Virginia, baby. Yeah. Salute to everybody that's in the chat, man. We locked in. You already know what time it is. What it do, Andrew? What it do, homie? Big salute to Andrew in the chat. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, Andrew. Yeah. Okay, I can answer that for you, All Star. He was so dangerous that that's the reason he is deceased. They set him up. We all know Michael was set up. We all know Michael was drugged by that doctor. We all know that, and it was a reason. That the reason is because he owned the whole catalog of damn near every artist in the industry. Right, I'm talking even down to Eminem. You know, Eminem used to make fun of Michael Jackson in his raps. You know, his raps and his videos would be on URL, on MTV, and Michael Jackson got so upset at the things that Eminem was saying about him in his raps that he brought Eminem's whole catalog. He brought his publishing. So every time Eminem did a song or shit got played on MTV, Michael Jackson got a percentage because he owned all of Eminem's publishing. So he was so dangerous that they used his doctor to drug him up and smoke him. And after they smoked him, his actual ops, Michael Jackson's actual enemies, just purchased all his publishing for $1.2 billion. That's how dangerous he was. That's how dangerous Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was no joke. Michael Jackson started talking real soft. He started acting real like feminine and shit. And the higher ups and the elites, them people, they got real comfortable around Michael. They say, "Oh, Michael's no threat. Michael, look how soft his voice is. Michael doesn't even have a deep voice, man. He's getting light skinned every day. We see he's almost fucking white, man. Man, Michael reminds me of my aunt Bertha, man. You know Bertha? Yeah, he looks just like Bertha, man. He's half white. His damn nose, what the hell is going on? And the whole time, Michael was thrashing they had. Michael was buying up everything. Michael had billion, man, but shit. Michael was buying shit. Michael bought the Beatles catalog. Think about that. They whole publishing, all of their catalog, all of their publishing. Michael bought that shit. He owned everybody. Mariah Carey, Eminem, Pink, every fucking body. So he owned everybody's publishing. Michael Jackson. Chris Brown, they got to him early. So listen, man, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't leave here without hitting that subscribe button. You're growing organically. It's a beautiful thing. Now, I'll be in the truck tomorrow morning, be crossing state lines at all times. So when I do come back and go live, it will not be from the big house. We are not in the big house right now. Well, we in there right now, but tomorrow we'll be in the truck. We'll be crossing state lines at all times, but I'm still gonna tap in with y'all. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. You already know what time it is, man. Yeah. I mean, he bought the whole Sony building, bro. I mean, when Michael Jackson was done with his last album, he was going independent with 3/4 of Sony's publishing. Hey, bro, hey, listen. People don't even really understand the magnitude of that. They don't, a lot of sheep be around. The sheep don't understand the magnitude of what Michael had done to these people, what he had done to the higher ups and the elites. He tricked them, he bamboozled them, and all it take is for the shit to happen to them one time for them to realize we'll never let this happen again. Oh, we got lucky with Michael. He got us, but we got him. Yeah, he got us, but we smoked him. Yeah, we just bought all that publishing back for 1.2 billion. We would have gave them 3 billion if they would have asked for it. Oh, they just wanted 1.2. We gave them $1 billion after taxes and shit. Shit. I'm just trying to get y'all the game, man. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. This is Grown Man Business TV. To all the new subscribers, to all the new investors, you know I appreciate you. If you in the chat and you haven't subscribed, what you waiting for? You ain't gonna get this nowhere else. You ain't gonna get this nowhere else on me. So listen, man, you already know what time it is. It's your boy, Grown Man Business TV. You can tap in, you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest. And I suggest you tap in. I suggest you tap into this grown man business. I suggest you tap into this grown man content at all times. You already know what it is. Straight off the brick into the bottles. Straight off the bricks into the bottle. Straight raw, pure, uncut, no extras, no preservatives. We not sugarcoat nothing, and we not dressing nothing up. I'm giving it to you straight raw, my G. I'm telling you, it's straight raw. It's not touched. It's not stepped on. You can cut this brick and then get 4 bricks out of it. Salute to Toronto in the building. Oh yeah, we international, baby. We international. Don't worry. Impulse. Hit that little red button and pull it back. That'll give you all the game you need, man. You stumbled in the grown man business. Listen, man. Listen. The women, they in the kitchen. And we done sent the kids upstairs to play. We told them to keep it down. Don't get too loud, cause we handling grown man business down here. So yeah, the women is in the kitchen handling business, and the kids is upstairs playing. If you don't know where you at, maybe you supposed to be upstairs with the babies. Huh? And don't get too loud, cause I take this motherfucking belt off and I'll come up there and you already know what happened if I come up there and I gotta take this belt off. In post. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, salute. Trinidad in the building. Trinidad in the building. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. It's no longer no need to ask why they won't let Chris Brown redeem himself, why they won't let Lil Bro have a second chance, why they keep bringing up Rihanna. When Rihanna then went and got married, she got 5 kids. She about to have another kid. She pregnant every 2 weeks. Rihanna ain't worried about Chris Brown. It's deeper than rap, why they keep shoving it in y'all face, why they keep creating the narrative that Chris Brown beats women and, stopping opportunities and, not letting him grow to his full potential. Because, he is he's the modern day Michael Jackson. Oh, and they were scared of Michael Jackson. They were scared of Michael Jackson. So you believe it or not, one thing for sure, 2 things for certain, they definitely scared of Lil Bro. They scared of Chris Breezy. Yeah, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be, man. Big salute to all my day one investors. Everybody that ain't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Breezy, you already know what it is, homie. That's Lil Bro for life. That's Lil Bro. It don't matter if he made $1 billion. It don't matter how many hundreds of millions. He is still Lil Bro. And if I see him today, he gonna answer the Lil Bro. This is 757 Virginia, homie. We create legends. Yeah, Toronto's in the building, but yeah, Drake know that Virginia creates legends. Push Ton, yeah, Grown Man Business TV, Allen Iverson, Mike Vick. I mean, I could go down the list. So yeah, make sure you tap in or you tap out. You already know how we do. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. You already know how we do. So yeah, it's your boy, Grown Man Business TV. Feel what I'm saying? You can tap in, you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest. And I suggest you tap in. Gang.